Hey y'all, it's Kim. So this is the Senate torture report, but the actual name is the report of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence Committee study of the Central Intelligence Agency's detention and interrogation program. And remember, after 9/11, many suspected terrorists were detained for extended periods of time and tortured, according to this report. And this is video number 37. We're on page 358 here. I have a 712-page document, but I think we can eventually get through it. But anyway, it says the following day, the cable was forwarded again to CTC officers with the subject line access to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed or KSM. On Sunday of 2001, Asset X held his second meeting with CIA officers who described Asset X is very willing to clandestinely assist the USG as directed. At the same time, Asset X identified a photograph of something redacted. So on something of 2001, CIA headquarters wrote that the CIA would be keenly interested if Asset X can dig into the KSM redacted. In 2001, Asset X proposed multiple times to the CIA that he used his contacts to locate KSM through redacted. The same approach that would lead the CIA to KSM for more than 15 months later. Asset X also argued for a more aggressive and proactive approach, redacted, but was eventually convinced by CIA officers to redact it instead. It's like, I don't know why they have some of this redacted after all these years, but okay. Okay, after Alex Station rejected the CIA case officer's recommended financial compensation for Asset X, Asset X declined to work with the CIA as a CIA source. Over the next 9 months, the CIA continued to believe that Asset X had the potential to develop information on KSM and its location and saw it, but was unable to reestablish contact with Asset X. During this time, the CIA continued to collect and all the redacted stuff, intelligence on KSM's redacted, and saw other opportunities to gain access to KSM through redacted. See, I don't know why they redacted all this. In July of 2002, a detainee in foreign country custody or government custody provided extensive information on KSM's redacted and confirmed that KSM was very close to redacted, who should know how to contact KSM. When the CIA finally located and met again with Asset X on something of 2002, Asset X stated that he could redacted within a few weeks and was traveling to redacted to locate redacted. Asset X was recruited as a source by the CIA, but despite his offer to track KSM's redacted, Asset X was dispatched by the CIA to redacted. Crazy that they have to have all these redactions in here. I mean, I guess it's sources and methods or locations, if those are still hotbeds for certain CIA activity. I don't know. By the time Asset X returned to redacted in 2002, his previous CIA case officer or handler there had departed for another CIA assignment. Asset X was thus handled by a new CIA officer who was unfamiliar with Asset X's potential utility in tracking KSM. Seeking guidance on how to proceed with Asset X, a new CIA case officer sent several cables to CIA headquarters, which he later described as disappearing into a black hole. According to an interview of a CIA officer involved in the operation, the cables were being sent to special compartments at CIA headquarters, which had been previously used by the team redacted. With the dispersal of that CIA team, however, the compartment was idle and no one at CIA headquarters was receiving and reading the cables being sent to the special compartment. That's crazy. So when the CIA case officer received no response to the cables he was sending, to CIA headquarters, he made preparations to terminate the CIA's relationship with Asset X. According to interviews in Redacted of 2002, the CIA officer, Redacted, and was on his way to meet Asset X to terminate the asset's relationship with the CIA. By chance, a CIA officer who had previously handled Asset X, Redacted, was visiting. Redacted. Okay. This visiting CIA officer overheard the discussion between the chief of base and the CIA case officer concerning the CIA's termination of Asset X as a CIA source. The discussion included names that Asset X had been discussing with the case officer, redacted, names that the visiting officer recognized, redacted. The visiting CIA officer interceded and recommended that the CIA base delay the termination of Asset X as a CIA source. At the next meeting, Asset X again demonstrated that he had direct access to KSM's redacted. As a result, the CIA decided not to terminate Asset X's work as a CIA source. And there's some footnotes if you want to read that. Okay, shortly thereafter, in 2003, Asset X traveled on his own volition and without prior discussion with CIA to redacted. A face-to-face meeting with KSM when Asset X learned CIA officers about his trip and direct access to redacted. What the hell? Okay. The internal debate within the CIA continued, however, with the redacted, and Asset X and his CIA handlers urged the CIA to delay action and wait for an opportunity for Asset X to locate KSM. Alex Station initially supported immediate action to capture any KSM Asset X could learn or lead them to. Before reversing its position on February of 2003, the next day, Asset X arrived in Islamabad, where he was surprised to find KSM. Okay. More footnotes. And Asset X sent a text message to a CIA handler stating, I am WKSM. Oh, I guess I am with KSM, maybe. And then Asset X contacted the CIA and conveyed what had just occurred. In an interview with the CIA's oral history program, the CIA case officer described what happened. We ran around, redacted. Asset X turns around to me and says, look, I don't know. I guess I'm nervous, redacted. I said, look, brother, there are 25 million friggin' reasons why you need to find redacted. That's what the reward was. He looks at me and says, I understand. Shortly thereafter, Asset X found redacted, and in the early morning hours of March 1st, 2003, Pakistani authorities conducted a raid and captured KSM. On March of 2003, KSM was rendered to CIA custody. Some footnotes. Okay, the capture of Majid Khan. The CIA represented that intelligence derived from the use of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques against CIA detainee KSM led to the capture of Majid Khan. The representations were inaccurate. In multiple interviews with the CIA Office of Inspector General, CIA officers state information from KSM led to the capture of Majid Khan. And that KSM gave us Majid Khan. The deputy chief of Alex Station and former KSM debriefer, redacted, represented that KSM provided information that helped lead to the arrest of Majid Khan, an operative who could get into the U.S. easily. The draft OIG special review repeated the representations of redacted and others, stating that KSM provided information that helped lead to the arrest of terrorists, including Majid Khan, an operative who could enter the United States easily and was taken tasked to research attacks against U.S. water reservoirs. On February 27, 2004, DDO James Pavitt, excuse me, I think as Deputy Director of Operations, James Pavitt submitted the CIA's formal response to the draft Inspector General Special Review. Pavitt's submission represented that Majid Khan was in custody because of the information we were able lawfully to obtain from KSM. The final and now declassified CIA Inspector General Special Review states that KSM provided information that helped to lead to the arrest of terrorists, including Majid Khan, an operative who could enter the United States easily and was tasked to research attacks. In its analysis of the legality of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques, the OLC relied on passages of the Inspector General's Special Review that included this inaccurate representation. On July 29, 2003, CIA leadership met with select members of the National Security Council to obtain reaffirmation of the of the CIA interrogation program. The CIA stated that detainees subjected to the use of enhanced techniques of one kind or another had produced significant intelligence information that had, in the view of CIA professionals, saved lives. Briefing slides provided by the CIA stated that major threat information was acquired, providing the identification of Majid Khan family by KSM as an example. The same slides were used, at least in part, for subsequent briefings. Good Lord. On September 16, 2003, a briefing was conducted for Secretary of State Colin Powell, and Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld, the content of which was described as virtually identical to the July 29, 2003 briefing. The slides were also used in an October 7, 2003 briefing for Assistant Attorney General Jack Goldsmith. CIA records indicate that Majid Khan was identified and located prior to any reporting from KSM. There's no indication in CIA records that reporting from KSM or any other CIA detainee played any role in the identification and capture of Majid Khan. On January 10, 2003, the FBI's Baltimore field office opened a full-field internal terrorism investigation on the email account bobdesi@hotmail.com. According to FBI investigator records, the investigation was predicated upon information received through the Central Intelligence Agency, or CIA, concerning a known Al-Qaeda email account that was already under FISA coverage, redacted. 6 days later, on January 16, 2003, open source research related to Bob Desi email account revealed a personal website. There's some footnotes for the user Majid Khan. In February 2003, Redacted was tracking Majid Khan's internet activity and was confident he was located at his brother's house in Karachi, Pakistan. On March 4th, 2003, Alex Station noted the activity on an Al-Qaeda email account associated with Khalid bin Atash, whatever, that was in contact with Majid Khan had been dormant. Alex Station recommended that Redacted move to capture Majid Khan in the hope that Majid Khan could lead CIA officers to Khalid bin Atash. The following morning, March 5th, 2003, officers from Pakistan carried out a raid on Majid Khan's brother's house, detaining Majid Khan. On March 15, 2003, Deputy Chief of Alex Station, Redacted, sent an email to CIA headquarters noting that she had read the reporting from Majid Khan's foreign government interrogations and was requesting photographs of Majid Khan and his associates to use in the KSM interrogations. CIA headquarters provided the photographs the same day. On March 17, 2003, KSM was shown the photograph of Majid Khan and discussed the person he stated he knew as Yusuf for the first time. The thwarting of Camp Lemonnier plotting. The CIA represented that intelligence derived from the use of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques thwarted plotting against the U.S. military base Camp Lemonnier. I don't even know how you say Lemonnier, I don't know, in Djibouti. These representations were inaccurate. In the September 6, 2006 speech acknowledging the CIA's detention and enhanced interrogation program, or detention and interrogation program, which was based on CIA provided information and vetted by the CIA, President George W. Bush stated, "This is intelligence that cannot be found in any other place, and our security depends on getting this kind of information." The speech continued. These are some of the plots that have been stopped because of information from this vital program. Terrorists held in CIA custody have also provided information that helped stop the planned strike on U.S. Marines at Camp Lemonnier, I don't know how you say that, in Djibouti. An officer of the Director of National Intelligence public release accompanied the September 6, 2006 speech states that the CIA designed a new interrogation program that would be safe, effective, and legal. The document asserts in early 2004, shortly after his capture, Al Qaeda facilitator Ghaled, I don't know, Hassan Durad, revealed that in mid 2003, Al Qaeda East Africa cell leader Abu Talha al Sudani sent him from Mogadishu to Djibouti to case the U.S. Marine base, Camp Lemonnier, I guess that's how you say it, Lemonnier, as part of a plot to send suicide bombers with the truck bomb. Similarly, in a prepared briefing for the chairman of the House Defense Appropriations Subcommittee, John Murtha, on October 30th, 2007, the CIA represented that the CIA could not conduct its detention operations at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, because interrogations conducted on U.S. military installations must comply with the Army Field Manual. The CIA presentation stated that the CIA program was critical to the CIA's ability, more footnotes, to protect the American homeland and U.S. forces and citizens abroad from terrorist attack. That most, if not all, of the intelligence acquired from high-value detainees in this CIA program would likely not have been discovered or reported in any other way. That the CIA program is in no way comparable to the detainee programs run by our military, and that the CIA used information derived from the program to disrupt terrorist plots, including against our military. The CIA presentation then stated a CIA detainee informed us of an operation underway to attack the U.S. military at Camp Lemonnier, whatever, in Djibouti. We believe our understanding of this plot helped us to prevent the attack. A review of CIA records found that the detainee to whom the CIA's representations referred, Ghalid, a variant of Ghaled, Hassan Durad, was not subjected to the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques. The CIA was aware of and reported on the terrorist threat to Camp Lemonnier prior to receiving any information from CIA detainees. Ghalid provided corroborative reporting on the threat prior to being transferred to CIA custody, and contrary to CIA representations, the plotting did not stop because of information acquired from CIA detainee Ghalid in 2004, but rather continued well into 2007. More footnotes. And then on March 4th, 2004, Khalid was captured in Djibouti based on information obtained from a foreign government and a CIA source. Prior to entering CIA custody, Khalid was confronted with information acquired from signals intelligence, and he confirmed that he cased Camp Lemonnier for a potential terrorist attack. CIA sought to render Khalid to CIA custody in order to question Khalid about senior Al Qaeda East Africa members Abu Talha al Sudani and Salah Ali Salah Nabhan. A CIA cable states Khalid represents the closest we have come to an individual with first-hand, face-to-face knowledge of Abu Talha al Sudani and Nabhan, and our hope is that Khalid will provide key intelligence necessary for the capture of these senior Al Qaeda members. And prior to Khalid's rendition to CIA custody, he provided detailed information on his casing of Camp Lemonnier to CIA officers. On March something of 2004, Khalid was rendered to CIA custody. There are no records to indicate that Khalid was subjected to the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques, nor are there any CIA records to indicate that Khalid provided the information was the basis for his rendition to CIA custody. Information leading to the capture of Abu Talha al-Sudani or Salah Ali Salah Nabhan. While in CIA custody, Khalid continued to provide information on his targeting of Camp Lemonnier. Khalid stated that Abu Talha al-Sudani had not yet picked the operatives for the attack against Camp Lemonnier, that the attack was on hold while they raised the necessary funds via the bank robbery operation, and that he, Khalid, was not informed of the operational plan. All right, I'm going to stop right here. I may not record anymore today. I want to do some reading. But anyway, I will talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Bye.